Oh, it's recording. Hello everybody, welcome to 54 Nights RV. Hey, this week we're going to do an owner's review of the Memory Machine. Now let's play some corny music. Well, my arm is going to get tired doing this. So, we have a 2016 Fleetwood Southwind 34A. We've had it for just about 2 years now. We bought it in March of 2017. It's 35 foot long. Roughly. That's like 3410 or something. But during this little walkthrough / owner's review, you're going to hear us pick on it a bit, be a little bit nitpicky with some of the smaller stuff. Just want to make it clear, we love this camper.
Love it.
We really do. So some of the negative things are taken lightly as far as we're concerned, but they are things that need to be pointed out. And the second thing I want to point out is, like the majority of campers produced over the last few years, maybe longer than that, this camper was put together in a hurry. And there are things that
you can tell that
pretty much shout.
I was put together in a hurry.
Yeah. So we'll be pointing out a lot of that stuff, but just keep in mind that would we buy this thing again? In a heartbeat. Yeah. Knowing what we know today, we would buy it again. So just keep that in mind. And before we get on to the grand tour, I know this is one thing that we always wanted to see when we were looking to buy a motorhome, and that is what the dang thing looks like closed up. Because when you go to the shows, they're all opened up. Even at the lots, most of the time they're all opened up. So what does this thing look like when it's all closed up?
And I was kind of uncomfortable asking them to close it up so I could look at it when I knew I wasn't ready about to buy. I mean, because it was, figured it was a long ordeal. I didn't want them to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, let me show you real quick what this thing looks like, all with both the slides in. Go ahead and kind of walk through there to give them some perspective on this.
How much space you have?
There's plenty of room.
This is going down the road.
Yeah.
This is, I can get in the refrigerator completely.
We can get into the bathroom. I mean, it is really completely accessible.
Yep.
So anyway, we'll move on into the bedroom once I open this thing up. Yeah, and there you go. All opened up wide for you. So here it is.
King size bed.
King size bed. You're going to have to speak up.
Okay. Sorry, king size bed.
Hey, don't yell at me. My gosh. She is so rude.
Fan mostly for white noise in here.
Yeah, we decided, we kept putting, hold on a second. Had to add the sound effect.
Are you dizzy?
We decided that we keep putting this off until we get the place all nice and perfectly clean like it came off the showroom.
But then we go camping again.
And then we go camping again. So there's going to be a little bit of spare things lying around. Deal with it.
Meet us.
Yeah. Hi. We're not quite slobs, but we're
comfortable.
We're comfortable. I like that word. We are comfortable. So anyway, back to the bedroom. So you've got of course, the storage over the bed and the 2 lights. Now, okay, this is one of those nitpicky things. You got these light switches up there. I'm a short guy, short arms. When I'm lying down here, I can't reach the light switches up there. I have to sit up to do it. I'm also lazy. On top of being short, with short arms, I'm lazy. I don't like to sit up and turn off the light. It would make much more sense if, you know, they put the light switches like over here on the wall, maybe. Just a thought.
Yeah, you're not lazy. It would just make more sense.
Then, of course, back here, you know, in one of our previous videos where I had to climb back there to plug the washing machine in, you saw that cabinet.
Yeah.
And, of course, Terry has these little totes that she likes to use. Most of that is our winter gear. Even though it's winter, it's still stowed.
Because it's Oklahoma.
Because it's Oklahoma. But we've got a bunch of different totes and stuff in here that we use for storage. And of course our dual purpose washer dryer machine.
And this is an ironing board that's actually got magnets on it, so it will stick to the washer dryer, which makes it kind of handy to keep it out of the way. And what do we have here? Our laundry stuff.
Yeah, it's storage down there that I don't ever get into this stuff.
Well, if you would do laundry now and then.
I do my part. I make it dirty.
You make it dirty.
And
it's just got the glass because it's got the
it's got the DVD player and a couple of more little containers with miscellaneous stuff in there.
Eventually I want to get something under this so it's got more storage under it, but I haven't found the right sized thing yet.
This little drawer cabinet thing here,
Kind of ugly, but
yeah,
it serves its purpose.
We bought that and filled that space with it.
Because we didn't use that space.
Yeah. Then of course the 6 drawers underneath, and then down here you got...
You have a fake cabinet.
Yeah.
It's not real. Make sure you look at that when you're looking at campers. If you're looking to buy, think, wow, there's an extra cabinet. There's probably a cabinet in there or 2 that aren't really a cabinet.
Sorry for the camera droop there. Yeah, that's the breaker box. And then you have the nice, good-sized wardrobe that kind of goes through both doors here. It's a hanging wardrobe. We've got where we keep some of our shoes.
The laundry basket actually goes right here.
Yeah.
But it's not in there right now because it's being cleaned out.
And that's about it.
That's the other light switch for the bedroom. I mean, but
yeah, for the overhead lights.
Yeah.
And we do have outlets. We do have outlets on either side of the bed, up kind of tucked up underneath on the side, and which not my preference. I'd rather kind of have them on the wall, but
oh, the outlets are a pain. Yeah, you're having to lean over. You can't see if you're trying to plug in the fan or something.
But there's plenty of floor space in here. I mean, I'm not.
Oh yeah, I love the floor space with a king size bed even.
Yeah. And the bed lifts up. It has a shock that is supposed to hold it up, only the shock is wore out.
And to be fair, our camper stood on the lot for a year before we bought it.
Yeah.
We bought it brand new, but it was on the lot for a year. So
Yeah.
people traipsing through, and who knows how many shows it went to.
And of course the guy showing us the rig that I think this was his first RV he had ever actually seen. And we asked if that was supposed to hold it up. He goes, no. Well, yeah, actually it is, but we were motorhome newbies at the time. We didn't know any better, so we took him for his word. But yeah, that shock is actually supposed to hold the bed up, but typically I'm the one that holds the bed up while she crawls around into there. And we have more totes and stuff for other storage up
There's
underneath
totes under
there.
the bed, yeah. And you get the thing that holds the door?
Oh, yeah.
And what's supposed to hold the door?
Yeah, so this is something I rigged up to hold the door shut because...
Open, actually.
Or
yeah, over going
open.
down the road.
Because this thing, this little kick thing here,
It's worthless.
on top of being worthless when you're traveling, it likes to pop out of there, and then the door slams shut. And on top of that, when it does stay engaged, it's difficult to disengage.
Mm-hmm.
So
I could barely do it.
So I just put that bungee cord up there, and the bungee
Perfect.
cord works just fine. Okay. There we go. Welcome to the bathroom.
Welcome to the bathroom. Our bathroom has quite a bit of storage. We're actually doing pretty well there. And of course, container store is your friend. Get lots of get lots of containers. We added this here, and it's just been amazing. I mean, it's a little shelf up there. It's one of those things that just easily pulls off when you get done. What are those called? What's that brand?
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Lots of space here. We've had issues with the sink, which Chris could go into. And one thing I don't like is, I wish they had thought about the toilet seat, because when it's up, it bangs against this, and why not just put a little, thing there if it's going to do that? I mean, it doesn't make much sense. We use tension rods a lot, and no matter what you get, it's my opinion, you're going to need lots of tension rods, whether it's a little tension rods or big tension rods. You're going to use a lot of tension rods. We were told that this was actually a thing where you flush the toilet from there. It's not. We tried a few times. It's not. Unfortunately, to fill up the toilet with water, you have to lift this thing up, which is a pain, especially when you don't have shoes on. I mean, it's doable, but this would have been really cool if that had worked.
Yeah, the deal with the sink, these pedestal sinks, there is a bracket on the wall that the sink hooks into that keeps it up against the wall. Well, I mentioned earlier that these coaches are put together in a hurry. These RVs are put together in a hurry. Well, that bracket was mounted too low on the wall, so the sink never hooked on it. They used glue to glue it to the wallpaper.
It's kind of a heavy sink.
Yeah, to hold it against the wall. So I actually had to remove the sink and move that bracket, and I still don't think I have it right, but...
That was after the sink pretty much fell going down the road.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we were to get another RV, I think the pedestal sink would probably be on our list of things we would prefer not to have.
And when you have an RV, storage is a premium, and you are missing out on storage when you have a pedestal sink.
Yeah,
so.
Very true.
And we also have a little exterior toilet paper holder here. I forgot to mention. That's also pretty nice. This is actually a little bit light. We need to get one that's weighted so it won't fall over going down the road, but that helps out on storage also.
Yep.
My father-in-law makes fun of my shoes, but hey, pretty good. What do you do?
1, 2,
All right.
3, 4. What? So that was the bathroom. We'll move on now. Hey, what's this mess?
What?
What is that mess?
It's a line.
What is it?
It's dog toys. She has to play too. We're playing. I say she because Perrin doesn't play with toys. But
How many toys are there?
not enough.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, and there's another one.
She likes her toys.
It's one dog.
But she likes because she's got her special toys.
Oh,
She has her
okay.
teddy bear and one's a chew toy. and this one bounces. Like you throw it and it bounces.
Are you sure it's the dog that wants the toys?
Dog people will understand this. I'm just saying.
Okay, so this is our little living area. What's under the couch?
Do you want me to open it?
Well, I mean, you can just...
Well, we have our ottoman that we set. It's a foldable ottoman, and we have for our longer trips we'll set up. Oh, we even have our Christmas tree under here. Look at that.
And
That's not it. That's not here year round. But this is our
shelves.
thank you, shelves that we set up for our longer trips, and then our fold up. This is our. I'm gonna take this out so you can see it, because that's our fold up ottoman, and that's pretty nice. You'll see plenty of space under there.
Yeah, I think you've heard her mention before on some of our walkthroughs that we use underneath this jackknife sofa for storage. So it's actually pretty handy. I don't know.
It really is.
I don't think we even thought about doing that with our other campers.
No, and we can get to it easy. I mean, it's surprisingly easy how getting to it is and how much we use it.
And
This goes here. We're supposed to go here. See? But unfortunately, that doesn't work so well.
yeah, the screws on it are stripped out. I've got to get some bigger screws or something to try to... And that's a flex steel thing. It's not...
Everybody uses
Yeah.
flex steel too. So it's not a brand. It's not a Fleetwood thing. Chris made that. It's awesome. That was handmade in Disney font because we're big Disney people. We're not big. We're kind of big, but we're losing weight. We're medium-sized Disney people.
And then somebody the other day asked what games we play, and there it is. We actually bought the Switch to put in the motorhome, because I mean, when we're home we don't ever have time to play games. I mean, we really don't. So we put it in the motorhome, and Terry has pretty much taken it over playing Zelda. So,
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a thing on the bottom that actually works really well. It used to fall off all the time, and we put a sticky thing on the bottom of that.
we Velcroed it
Yeah.
basically to the shelf there.
And that shelf's really good for nothing, so that worked out well.
Yeah, it's a little narrow. One of the issues with the TV here is it has two HDMI inputs on the back of the TV, and you know, between the Blu-ray and the dish, we don't have a third. It takes up both slots, so we have to switch out the HDMI plugs so that she can play her Switch. So
My Switch?
I don't get to play it. And speaking of useless,
We have to be careful when we open that.
Yeah.
See how deep that is? It's that deep right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
But you will notice she mentioned earlier tension rods. There you go.
They're everywhere. And our fireplace is also kind of odd because there's switches that don't do anything. That one does something, but like that. Like it's there and then there. I don't know. We probably just haven't figured it all out, but even though we've had it for 2 years, we've given up.
And then, of course, the residential fridge, which we probably couldn't do without now because we wouldn't have a place to put all the magnets.
Places west of us are on the left side, and places we've been right or east of us are on the right side. When we're going down the road, it's got these little crazy things here, which every camper we've noticed has something weird to keep the refrigerator doors closed, because you've got to keep the refrigerator doors closed. But what we found works way better, because that really doesn't work. There's two of them, by the way. Yeah, they do that. Is we just put a piece of Velcro around here. And we still have to make sure this is like that so that the freezer doesn't open. But
the freezer has kind of a latch on it, so it's not quite as susceptible to popping open, although it has.
Right.
And then another little addition that we made was a spice rack, which is actually like a bamboo desk drawer organizer thing, but we just got that double-sided tape and taped it up there, and it's
works great.
Pretty handy up there.
One thing I want to note that the new campers have that are pretty neat is a lot of them have either this folds up or they have a little place under the sink for these, because these and these are kind of a pain to figure out what you're going to do with when you're stopped. So we've thought about making something. We eventually will make something of it.
Yeah, we're always tinkering and making little things here and there, but plenty of storage here in the kitchen, really.
Modified this with more tension rods so that the cutting boards and some of the flat cookie sheets and stuff will stand upright. And this is just storage. I don't think, well, this is our drying rack. This has been very, very handy.
Yeah. Oh, and our little paper towel holder. The only problem with that is when the paper towel gets like down to about a quarter of a roll.
We come
yeah,
back
that's what happens when we drive down the road.
More tension rods, by the way. These are our plates. There's one paper plate there, kind of keep them from rattling, but there's our plates, and I love this. That's been wonderful. No tension rods. Boy, that's a mess. That's kind of what happens when you go down the road. They kind of fall over.
Yeah. Now this, you've got it open or you got it closed.
Wow, we never see it closed.
Yeah, take a good look at it, because that's probably the first time it's been closed in a while.
There's even dust on it.
I mean, a lot of jump edits on this one. a lot of people, a lot of salesmen will like to brag about how the control panel is hidden behind something. Ours is hidden behind something if we ever close it, but we never close it.
We don't. Maybe you would, but
it's
why?
just we're always wanting in it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
And it doesn't fall closed when we're going down the road, so we just leave it open.
I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah. Oh, and this particular camper has this that we don't use often, but every now and then we do, and kind of nice when we do.
Yeah. Well, countertop extension that we use from time to time. The unfortunate piece of that is if it's open, it kind of gets in the way of going in and out of the RV. So it's probably why it doesn't get used as often as it could.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the dinette. I mean, I think both of us, if we had been putting one together, would have preferred a table with the freestanding chairs.
Mm-hmm. It has storage, but we really don't use the storage much.
You know, like games and.
I think there's owner's manuals.
Yeah.
I say I think because we don't use it much. We've got these are really nice. Little. We can find things so much easier now, and these go all the way across. And I think they're kind of cute. So I mean, if you're handy, you can make them even cuter. But
or if you got time, which
yeah, that too.
Now this is neat.
Yeah.
We actually got that signed by the artist when we were at Disney. Okay, the cupboard.
Well,
the pantry.
I'll show you it to you first. Whoa, what's that? Something fell. Oh, it was the chipotle sauce. But this opens. See how I just did that? That happens as we're going down the road. All the time. I'm like that. And then like that. And then like that. And then he turns. And then like that.
Yeah. If I turn quick enough, I can close it.
This is what we did to stop that. It'll still sometimes open, and then another time it closes, but it doesn't go very far. Yeah. So that's one of our checklist things.
Lift that bag out, just show them where it's wrapped around my...
It's one of our mental checklist things. Before we go, we have to hook that. If we don't hook it,
so what is that?
I think this is actually a seat belt, one of like a dog seat belt. This, well, as you see, this goes into this. I think that's what it's billed as, like on Amazon, is a dog seat belt. See, this end has a clip on it, and then that goes on the dog's
Speaking
harness.
Of dogs' seat belts.
Yeah, we have. The big dog gets clipped back here. We keep harnesses on the dogs because one thing about being in dog rescue, cat rescue, is you hear about a lot of things that are not fun to hear about, but at least you're aware. And one thing that's very, very common is that when you go on a road trip, whether you're in a car or a camper, and you get in a wreck, a small wreck, a big wreck, with all the craziness going on, a lot of times the dog will get loose. And they're freaked out because they were just in a wreck and there's all these weird people around. Sorry, I'm out of breath from doing something, I don't know. And they will take off. Even your friendliest, most obedient dog will take off. Or cat. Some people camp with cats, same thing. So obviously you don't want to hook them to a collar because then if you come to a sudden stop, it's going to choke them. So our dogs wear harnesses all the time. And the standard poodle gets hooked up here. And then he gets a harness, and then the little dog gets hooked up closer to the front of the camper. But it keeps them where they're supposed to be. And our dogs are trained not to go out the door until we tell them to. But just in case something happens and they decide they're going to race out the door, they can't. So it's kind of a safety thing. It works out really well.
And in some cases, it keeps the big poodle out of my seat.
Yeah.
He thinks he can drive the motor home, so when I get out to put gas in the coach or go get me a Mountain Dew,
he's like, let's go for a joyride, Ari.
Yep. He'll jump in the front seat unless we shorten his leash, and then he can't get up there. But I guess that's the coach. Other than the cockpit, we'll go up front and I'll point out some of my annoyances. You ever feel like a dummy and think you're recording but you forgot to hit the record button? Yeah. So hey, this is Chris from the future. If you're watching the video, I'm recording this a few days later. Wasn't real happy with the way this particular piece turned out, so I'm re-recording it, and honestly, I'm not going to be happy with it when I get done with it this time, but we're going to the lake this morning, so then it's Friday morning, so just have to deal with it. Yeah, going to the lake this morning, and it's 20 degrees outside. Yeah, we're slightly off our rockers, and we will remain that way until 2 days after we die. Alright, so when we first bought this coach, it had this little cup holder piece right here, and it was down on the doghouse. And it made it where if you had a drink in the cup holder, which go figure, they're cup holders, so you know, what are the odds that you'd actually have a drink in them? It made it where from the driver's seat I would have to bend down to pick up that cup, to grab a cup. Not really the most ideal situation for when you're cruising down the highway. So on our way home from my mom and dad's one time, Terry said we need a trash can up here because, like most travelers, we get the munchies when we're on the road, and then there's no place to throw that stuff in the trash. I told her all she had to do was get up off her butt and take it to the trash can. Yeah, that didn't go over real well. So after I woke up, I devised a plan to solve both of our issues: the non-existence of a trash receptacle, like that big long word, and raise those cup holders up within reach. So what I did, I built this console. It's really simple, but it brings the cup holders up off the doghouse, really just right there, almost level with the seat. And while I was at it, I added 4 USB ports right there, so we have a place to plug in all our goodies. So I think it turned out well. The trash bag right back here, it's just a Walmart bag, or you know, one of those plastic bags that are outlawed in California, but Oklahoma don't care, so we still get them. But anyway, after that little nauseating spin I just did, I will send you right back to your regularly scheduled program. Okay. So when we first bought this coach, it had a Jensen touchscreen stereo in it, which it was a decent radio, nothing to write home about. But the problem was, in the daylight, and it didn't matter if the sun was on this side of me, the sun was on that side of me, or in front of me, the screen was washed out. I couldn't read it. Didn't matter which color I picked. It was, at best, it was difficult to read. And part of that is the angle. I mean, it's flat, facing straight back, unlike the backup monitor up here, which is kind of at an angle towards the driver. And I mean, touchscreen stereos are pretty cool and they're nice and everything, but when you're concentrating on driving down the road, really you don't want to be looking down to see if you hit the skip button, because that Jensen stereo has a habit of turning into a fan of certain artists on a road trip. You'll be hearing Van Halen, Toby Keith, Van Halen, Toby Keith, Van Halen. It's like, no, I really kind of want to listen to something a little softer, like, you know, Metallica, or, you know. It's, so all that combined, I swapped out the radios. Make a long story short, which I'm not good at, by the way, just in case you haven't noticed. I swapped out the radio, put this just regular looking stereo in here that has, you know, the old school clock and everything on it, and I can see this darn thing driving down the highway. That Jensen stereo was the reason we got this clock, this digital clock right here, was because I couldn't read the time on their stereo.
It's not the reason we got this ultra cool little man or this ultra cool little man. Just saying.
Yeah, those are our travel guides.
Yes.
But like that stereo, what I don't like about the stereo in this RV is up there and up there. This falls into the realm of what were you thinking? Those are the speakers for the stereo. What, 3 foot above my head, facing towards the back of the coach? You got to crank this radio to hear it decently going down the highway. I don't understand. So sometimes these people that design these RVs really don't think about anything other than where will it fit, and that's what those speakers are. Oh, the speakers will fit right here. Won't do a whole lot of good, but they'll fit there. Anyway, I'll get off the radio. Not that I ever really was on the radio, because I really can't sing that good, but
whatever.
It's
you guys need to hear him sing. He's a great singer.
Yeah, and a great dancer too.
Not a great dancer, but he's a great singer.
Hey, another addition. The Garmin. That is the 770, I think, the GP or the RV model.
And where to put it?
Yeah.
What
I actually
this very important space right here.
Yeah, his little useless cubby hole. So I bought a disc that the suction mount would go onto, and I screwed that disc into the dash, and that's where it rides. And it rides there pretty good.
And you can see it well too.
Yes, I can see it. It is just kind of a reach to get to it, but it's really not that bad. But that's about it. I mean, it's with the console made up now, everything is kind of within reach. So it's all. Well, I did put another USB port right here because I can't remember why I put it there.
You got those two there, but they're always.
Yeah. So. Anywho, that's the front of the beast. The memory machine. Up here is cabinet for the Blu-ray player and our dish receiver. I do have a bad habit of forgetting to close this when we break camp. Luckily, I haven't been hit.
Look at this. There's more tension rods.
Another tension rod. This is a tension-filled coach.
There's no tension in this coach. This is our stress-free tension coach. You know, one thing that we found that actually Chris kind of discovered is when we're camped, I mean, you can turn these seats around. But when we turn them sideways with the back to the walls, it actually opens up the coach so much more, and you still have your instead of completely turning them around, it just I don't know. It's hard to describe it. I mean, when it's all opened up, it just makes it feel that much bigger and nicer, and you can see out the front window. If you're parked where there's mountains and you've got the windshield open, I mean. Great view. Actually, it took us a year and a half to discover that, but it's been kind of nice.
Yes, it has been. One last thing. Our keychain holder. That is right there above the sink, right by the door. So that's where we hang all our keys. I think that's about it. And I gotta tell you guys, this little girl right here doesn't like being on camera or talking to the camera.
That's our little secret.
It's not a secret anymore. There's like 12 or 13 people that know about it now. That's the inside of the coach. Hopefully later this week I'll get a chance to record the rest of it on the outside of the coach. If not, if you don't see the outside of the coach like now, well then we didn't get to it. But it's a Class A motorhome. Typical storage outside.
But there's tension rods.
Imagine that. Tension rods.
They're pretty cool outside.
Are there any shoes?
No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, there's water shoes.
So you do have another pair of shoes.
You have another pair of shoes too.
Anyway, gang, I know it's probably went a little long, but
I hope there was something that could help you. Some of the stuff we've learned or we've discovered, and
yeah, I know. I feel like I rambled most of this time, but I think we covered it. If you don't like my rambling, well, sorry.
Because he's a rambling man.
No, really? You just had to go there, didn't you?
It was screaming
wow.
for, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Catch you guys later.